and teenagers, summertime, and a lot of fun getting in the water and cleaning up the plastic from the trees. Finally, I have something for County Executive Spano. As perhaps some of you have been here before, have heard County Executive Spano has waxed eloquent about the bumps in the road that were on Butler Woods, just north of us. And in fact, we have from Peter T., and I don't know if Peter T. is here, but Peter T. is an engineer, and he has explained how these bumps in the road were created in a one-page treatise. So, Andy Spano, here's your famous bump in the road, the thank you ma'ams that he remembers as a child coming up the river. That's all I have, Kay. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it for Jim. Yes, Jim. He's a real unsung hero too. He's a volunteer like no organization is more fortunate to have. Pro bono, he's out there in that river as well as doing the other things that an executive director has to do, but he does the physical labor too, and he does a wonderful job. I would like also to introduce you to the rest of the board before we go into this dedication. My name's Kay Karski, and I'm the current president of the organization. Suzanne Nolan is our vice president. Suzanne she was with the county planning office, and now she is a full-time mother, but she's not a full-time mother. She spends a great deal of time on preservation and historic activities in 2 communities. Barbara Trotel is our secretary, and Barbara has written the history of the founding of the Bronx River Reservation. Walter Handelman, you met just now. Walter is our assistant secretary and keeps us out of trouble. Peter Thorpe, our treasurer, keeps us viable, very viable. And he's a banker, retired, but now he's a wonderful person to have on your team when you're trying to stay solvent. John Fava is someplace here, a charter member, 35 years he was with.
I want to thank Jim for this bump treatise here. For those of you who are looking puzzled, there used to be 2 bumps in a road, and they were large bumps. I mean, not small bumps. They were like, I think, that, you know, as a kid, they were like this big. And they were sequential, you know, one right after another. Right, I guess right around here somewhere. Just past the turn. Yeah, and your parents would put all kids in the back seat. And then you'd get ready and they'd go, you know, and your stomach would go up and down. I have no idea why they did it, but Joe said to me, you're not putting them back. But, you know, Lowell would feel great today. Not only that we're dedicating this bridge, but that we're taking care of this entire reservation. When I got into office, he came to see me, and I had known him before. It wasn't that we just met for the first time. And he said, you got to do something about the Bronx River Parkway. I said, well, and then he started giving me a whole bunch of stuff. And I said, you don't have to talk to me about it. I said, I really love that place, and we should fix it. We should do something about it. And, you know, with him, the Conservancy, the Parks Department, and everything, we've been sequentially fixing one thing at a time. In fact, I guarantee you within the next 2 years, this will be fixed too. We'll have this falls. Not that we've seen it, right, Joe? we got to get the stones sort of finish the top there. You know, Lowell was a person that just gave you so much energy in a very quiet way. He didn't move fast, but whatever he did moved fast. And he was just a very gentle man. Someone who ran Scarsdale for almost over 30 years and did all this other work that you see in his spare time. He was a great man. We all miss him. But I think dedicating the bridge at this very beautiful location is really an appropriate honor to him. You know, 50, 60 years from now, the people go across this bridge, they won't know who he was. but they'll enjoy the scenery and they'll enjoy everything else, and that's really what it's all about. That there'll be hundreds of people who never knew him that will enjoy what he did. I just want to point out some details of this particular work here. There's one last connection right past that point over there that isn't finished. That's because we haven't figured out how to do it. But we will figure that out. When we make that connection, the trail will be connected for the first time in a long, long time. In fact, as far as anybody can know, from Scout Field to Kensico. In the park. In the park. In the park. If you haven't been to White Plains yet, you don't have to go up into the streets anymore. You can go down and under. It's very pretty over there also. And we're doing the section where the parking lot is for the county center. That's all being redone. We're going to create a park in that area and move the parking lot over a couple of ponds, right? Which will serve as aesthetically and for retention. If you look up the road here, see this bench right here? One of our guys, what's one right here? Yeah. One of our guys found some concrete bench parts in the woods about 3 years ago. They were the original concrete, so we've had them all. These are all original design, all of them. We had someone make the concrete parts, and we've done it all the way up. The original lights, we're not gonna light the whole Parkway with them. If you remember, they were made to break when a car hit them. They were wooden, and we don't want to put them back, but we're going to put them on the entrances to the Parkway, just to give a sense of it. And the entire Parkway from north of the county center to Kensico, the Parkway itself, is being restored. And you'll see that happen over the next 2 or 3 years. So we're putting it all back. This is a real treasure, you know, in Westchester County, and it's a real legacy for the entire country. So we're going to make sure it happens. And Lowell has a lot to do with it. A lot to do with it. He was the founder of this group, of the Conservancy. And he had the energy and the people. I mean, you know, it's no fun cutting these vines down. But you get a tremendous amount of satisfaction out of it. So anyone wants to volunteer, you know, you heard how you could do that. But we're also working with the Parks Department to do that. And the people responsible that I depend on, Joe and his people in the Parks Department. They not only take care of this place, but all the other facilities that we have. And once again, we are the only accredited park system in the state of New York, the only county accredited park system in the state of New York. We're known nationally, so much so that I've been asked to speak in Milan in 2 weeks on the Westchester County Parks to an entire European Parks group, because we are that famous. And the man in charge of this, he had built them up so much, he hates when I do that, because he knows it means more work. Joe Stout.